Well, here we are. I can't believe we're in the last of our mini series about the Enneagram. We're going to talk about the Head Triad today. And then I'm going to talk about also how to integrate the three of them, because one without the other or two without the third one leaves your vision flat and it's not well-rounded and it doesn't give you a full picture. So we need all three triads. We need all three to come to the table, whether we are a heart triad, head triad, or gut triad. It's so important that we start to activate each area of our lives. With that, let's do this. Hey, and welcome to the Full Weight of Joy podcast, the podcast for women who are done stressing about the weight of the world, of expectations and settling for status quo, and ready to step into the full weight of joy. Joy in the journey, whether up or down, joy through the life's challenges, and joy in loving your life right where you are, even though sometimes we feel like chucking it all and moving to Bali. It's for women who are ready to step into who God called them to be. He chose you to be in this world. He created you for a specific purpose. God called us to be the light on a hill, and by embracing who you are and whose you are, you can stand on that hill and shine. The best part, when you're standing next to another woman who's also on the journey, the world gets brighter. My name is Tammy. I'm your host and a master certified life coach and a trained therapist. For over a decade, I've been helping women do just that. Step into who they're called to be and shine. Are you ready, friend, to start your journey? Let's do this. Hey, and welcome back. Today we are continuing our vision. Can you believe we have only 2 more episodes left of October when this airs? So we have 2 more episodes. This is going to be wrapping up the Enneagram series, the Enneagram mini series within our vision series. And sometimes, we save the best for last. We are talking about the head triad today. But before I dive in, let's recap a little bit about, one reason why we use the Enneagram. Because if you haven't listened to the other 3 episodes, I want to just catch you up quickly. But I would highly suggest you go and you listen to those. But let's talk about the reasons overall is because our vision's really personal. And we want it to reflect our core values, our needs, our God dream. We want it to uncover our unique strengths that we can leverage. We use it to also not highlight our strengths, but also uncover these potential challenges or potential blind spots that keep us from getting what we want, the life that we want, creating this vision, what we want. Without vision, people perish. And when we don't write it down, and we don't get some texture to it, put some detail to it, it's simply a dream. It simply stays in our mind, and we can't actually take action on it. And our brain will keep us from even seeing what's possible. So with the Enneagram, using this as a tool to help us actually go a little bit deeper and to see what stops us from creating the vision that we really want, and then what strengths can we lean into in order to help the whole process, to help the experience, and to really bring it to life and address all areas. And so the way I'm talking about is we're diving into each of the Enneagram triads. So we started with the gut triad, which is the gut triad is all about like instincts and the need for autonomy. The vision style is bold, action-oriented, action-focused, and reforming things, making something for their environment, making a difference. It's typically more practical. When I first started creating visions and even a vision board, I was very practical about it. So with understanding that in the desire for control, like we need a little bit of control over our destiny, as much as I hate to admit that. And that is one of my challenges and one of the areas that I get to step into, and other gut triads get to step into as well, understanding that we can't actually control everything. I know, shocker, right? So then by bringing in the heart and the head triad while you are a gut. So we want to make sure that, because it's like three parts of a triangle, our body, our heart and our emotions, and then our head and our thinking, that logic. So with one without the other 3, it's only 1D. It lays flat. And so that's why, even though you may be a gut or heart triad, listening and diving into the head triad is actually incredibly valuable. So now a recap on our heart triad. These are our emotional beings. Now, it doesn't mean they're overly emotional. And let's face it, any number can be overly emotional. It's just a matter of how we handle it. But it really is based on this authenticity, and it needs to emotionally resonate. And so the heart triad has the need for connection and identity through authenticity. And so being in tune with the emotional side of the vision, it allows it to be more compelling. It allows it to be more vision, like grand, and then also inspires us to take action. And so their vision casting style is more on an inspiration or connection level. How does it affect others on through relationship, through the value they want to bring? So you can already see how adding that body and that autonomy and the action with the relational and emotionally charged side of the heart triad, you already see a more developed, a deeper vision. Well, now we're going to add the head triad to this. So our head triad, let me pull up my notes right here. Okay. So the thinking triad. So this is our type 5, 6, and 7s. These are the individuals who are longing for security and understanding. They do things to understand the world around them. So there's a strong emphasis on logic and analysis and foresight. They're drawn to visions that provide mental stimulation, offer a sense of security, and align with their intellectual pursuits. So it's something that activates their mind. And so their vision casting style tends to be more intellectually robust, well-researched, and typically pretty strategically sound. There's a map on their board. You can see how everything kind of fits together. Their office focused on exploration and innovation. And so also this pursuit of knowledge, the growth aspect. And so when they stay in this information, a lot of times this information doesn't lead to action. It doesn't lead to, okay, how do I use it to relate to others? And so this is, again, why the triad, the head triad, still needs to enable and activate the gut and the heart triads. So let's talk about our triads individually. But before I dive into that, we are just a week away from the Vision Lab. This is something I've been working on for a couple of years, because I've been actively pursuing understanding the visions that we have. How do we take this God dream that we barely want to acknowledge to get it onto paper? How do we create a vision that, whether it's a vision board or a vision paragraph, how do we add texture to it? You'll hear me say that a lot, because I think adding texture means, you add color, you add depth, you add, add different aspects of it. What does it sound like? What does it smell like? You add character and you add some interesting things. You add some depth and some texture to your vision. But this Vision Lab I created in order to give you a place that we'll meet together 4 times, and we're going to craft our visions. First, we're going to talk about and allow ourselves to get a little uncomfortable with expanding. What do we really want? And I say get uncomfortable because when I actually started writing down what I wanted, it scared me to death, because then it's now it kind of activated it. It gave a responsibility to me, because I'm this is what God has put on my heart. And then it's how is that possible? How can I act on this when I don't even know how to do it? And so that's why getting uncomfortable and actually acknowledging what you want. And let me just preface that with saying that it's in your heart because God's placed it there. When it comes to making an impact, when it comes to making a difference, that's servant's heart that God's given all of us. And so And so this is part of it. Like, we're going to dive in this vision lab. We are going to craft a vision board. I don't remember exactly which week, but it's not the first week. So you'll have time to, or not the first, it's not the first session. So you'll have time to like gather some things. We can also do it online, do like a electronic vision board. And so some people even do it like on their phones in just a folder, like on their Apple Photos folder, or they make one and create a phone background, or you can do it on Canva. You can make, there's a lot of different ways. So we can do this. So if you don't have you don't have magazines laying around, that's fine. We'll make it doable. But the thing is that through this process, like, it's going to be fun. We get to expand, see what's possible. And when we do this together, we get to hear like what other people are talking about too. And it helps us dream bigger. So join the Vision Lab. The first 30 people who sign up also get a BOGO. So you get to bring a friend. So come and we'll sign up. It's in the show notes. It's go.tammymariecoaching.com/Vision Lab. So there's a go in front of it. So go.tammymariecoaching.com/Vision Lab, all one word together. So come sign up, come hang out with us. And if you have any questions or if you want to know if this is right for you, get on a call. Like, just reach out to me. The fastest way is through LinkedIn or Instagram. Just DM me and I can get right back to you. Instagram is at Tammy Imlay, TAMIIMLAY. And on Instagram, it's at Tammy Marie Coaching. Okay. So now let's dive into, now we got that stuff out of the way, and know that everything we've been working towards, this is kind of the Vision Lab is kind of the culmination of this journey we've been on this month. Now, I would love to know if you've liked diving deeper into one topic, because typically I'll do a mini series, but I don't talk about one topic. I mean, let's see, by the time we're done, we're talking about 8. I think I'll have 9 episodes on vision by the time this month is done, which blows my mind because, yeah, just how can you talk about vision that many times and in that many ways? And it's like, well, you really can when you start to explore different aspects of it. And so yes, so we have gone deep into vision, and I want to know, do you like this, or do you want me to go back to the way where it's, it will be different each time, but kind of they all go together. And how I do those is basically what I'm inspired to do, or basically things that are happening with my clients that I'm like, okay, I'll do a podcast about it, or questions that I get from you guys. So anyway, like, let me know, hit me up. I'd love to know what your thoughts are, because again, this is for you. This is, I want to bring value. I want to help you. I want your life to be beautiful, and I want you to shine, and I want you to step into the impact that you were called to make. And I want to make it easier for you. I want to guide you so that way you don't have to make so many mistakes or missteps, or you don't have to go the roundabout way of doing things. I've done a lot of the research for you, because I said that education is my favorite form of procrastination, and it is. However, I realized I just love learning. I love learning how to do things more efficiently. I love learning how to do things more effectively. I love learning and putting together pathways and journeys and frameworks that make it easier. So that's what I do for my clients. And and even in this Vision Lab, that's what I'm going to do, is I have a framework that we're going to walk through together. And at the end, you're going to have a personal, a business, or a work. Because sometimes even the work of mom, we need a vision when it comes to that, but also this impact vision, which it will help drive us to take those action steps that we need. All right, as promised, let's dive into the type 5, the investigator. So our investigator friends, some of the challenges is the over-reliance on information, gathering so much information that can lead to analysis paralysis or delayed action. So they have a tendency also to isolate, to make it hard for them to seek support or feedback on their vision. They want to know everything before they start putting action to it. They want to know everything. And sometimes they don't even know what they don't know, or don't know how to ask questions, or sometimes just that they love the research so much that they forget that there's to seek support. And so it feels a little more isolated because not everyone understands the way they understand it. And then also just the fear of depletion that could prevent them from, well, that prevents them from from taking the risks, that having the energy to take the risks, that to pursue their vision fully. The idea that in order to step into our vision, the one that was deep in our soul, deep in our knower, it does it's going to make us uncomfortable. And being uncomfortable can be really exhausting and it can take resources from us. But what we have to see on that flip side is it also is such life-giving experience. And so that's one of the challenges is reminding themselves that it can be a life-giving experience. And we may be a little tired. So we can just plan for that too. Some of the benefits of having a type 5, like some of the benefits they have, and then also why you want to be around a type 5 when you are discovering and uncovering your vision is their analytical skills. Help them create a well thought out and realistic vision. Okay, so we are going to talk about an expanded vision, but it's nice to have some things on our vision that's kind of realistic to where it's like we may not be able to know to achieve it yet, but we can see the pathway to get there. We can see the journey, the framework. We can see that, okay, I can see how taking speech classes can help me be a better speaker and land me some things to do on stage, some speaking gigs on stage. Also, the benefits of deep focus, that 5s can dive deep into a subject and they can take these complex details and thoroughly understand it. And so understanding, because sometimes we get these ideas, but we don't know how it all goes together. And so the 5 can do that. They can take a concept and a complex idea and they can break it down for us because they have done the research. They know how to research it and typically draw it out and create a plan. And then also just the intellectual curiosity that drives them to innovate. And it brings unique aspects, things that we didn't think of, things that our heart may not have seen or our gut, our instinct did not bring forward. But it's like, okay, how can we be innovative for this? How can we do something different? How can we get creative and see it from a different perspective? So the type 5 investigator really they have a great starting off point for their vision. And they're great to work out visions with because they can take those details that other people may not be able to see as easily. And so we'll move on to the type 6, the loyalist. So I love my type 6 friends. I love them to death. One of my best friends is a type 6. And I love because when I have an idea, I will just mention it to her and she just starts planning. She starts going and creating the ideas, the plans, giving some options, some worst case scenarios, but also some here are some options for you, some best case scenarios. So some of the challenges our type 6 friends, the loyalists, have when it comes to creating their vision is they have a tendency to overthink things or to worry that may lead to self-doubt or hindering their decision-making. One thing to know is our vision, it needs to be a little grand. It needs to be elevated. It needs to be expanded, which also means that we haven't experienced it yet. So the type 6, those loyalists may start to think of well, how is this even possible? And then they start to have that self-doubt and wondering if they're even capable. There's also the fear of change or uncertainty that might prevent them from fully committing to a vision. They might see what it is, but because it is so much out of their comfort zone, they may have trouble stepping into it fully and actually taking those first couple of steps. And then the third is the reliance on external guidance. So our Enneagram 6 really do like to get feedback from others. But with this, sometimes they have a hard time actually defining it for themselves. So one thing that I know is when you start to share that God dream, other people don't see it the same way you do. They don't know what God has put on your heart. And so if they haven't thought about it and they haven't kind of teased it out a little bit, when they start to ask for guidance and ask for even their best friends about it, it may turn into something that doesn't align with what God had on their heart. And so this is where they have to rely, they'll learn to rely on the internal guidance, on those and break free from the self-doubt and just trust the process. So as much as that may be some challenges for them, some of the benefits that they have is the ability to foresee potential obstacles. They can see things before they even are a possibility. This is the Google tab situation where they're just already researching, okay, what are the options and what's possible with them? What could happen? Typically, if you're not healthy on the sick side, you can lead more towards the worst case scenarios. But there's also those best case scenarios. And so the ability to foresee those potential obstacles allows them to create a resilient vision with contingency plans. They can have an A, B, C, F, G, H plan that will help get the vision going. Like, okay, if this way doesn't work, here are some other ways that we're able to do it. And then also the loyalty and dedication help them stay committed to their vision once they choose it. So the once they choose it is really important because again, this self-doubt and this worry or overthinking it may lead to hesitation of defining their own. But once they have their vision, watching a 6 work steadily towards it is an amazing thing. When I see my 6 friends go for something and then just dive in and start to achieve it and the excitement they get and the confidence that comes with it as they see the momentum and see the progress, it's such a beautiful thing. And they're so locked in with their why. And they're so committed to it once they've decided that that's it. And it's just a beautiful thing to watch because I get squirrel brain. I get sidetracked. I see things that I'm like, oh, this can be better. And it's like, no, Tammy, just stay focused. And so I love helping my 6s help me with this. Help me say, keep me on the track. And the same with and working on visions with 6s is because their ability to see it from a different perspective, to see a wider view of it is really, really helpful. And so last but not least, our type 7s are enthusiasts. So our challenges that our type 7s may face is a tendency to chase multiple interests that may lead to a scattered vision. They don't want to miss out on life. I'll just leave it there. So they don't want to miss out on any opportunity and so they're multi-passionate. And even when you create a vision, there needs to be some cohesiveness with it. We can shift and we can change and it can grow with us. But if we chase everything that we're interested in, then we're actually not going to achieve anything because there are so many things, so many experiences in life that's possible. Well, and the tendency that 7s have in order that they want to go with whatever interests them. Sometimes I'm just going to put it out there. Sometimes working on your vision means doing the boring tasks, meaning that we take the consistency. And that's one of the things that we're going to talk about next week is all these grand and envisioning, but what does it take to make a vision happen? One of the things is we have to be consistent. We have to put some boundaries and some filters, and we have to look at and not get squirrel brain and not see the shiny objects or shift simply because there's something that looks easier or more fun. And so our 7s in particular have to be aware of that. And so I don't want to say that it's just a challenge, meaning that you can rise to the occasion. Just like every number has the challenges. And I don't want you to say that challenges are like, this is your limitations. These are the things that we get to look out for and we get to work around. These are the thorn in the sides that allow us to grow and give us insight to like, okay, I'm getting off task. Let me get back to what I want. And so another challenge for the type 7 enthusiasts is the avoidance of discomfort. I talked about this a little bit, how just the idea of being bored or and or if something's a little more challenging, but there's an easier way, like let's go this way instead because that's more fun, that's brightly colored and it looks easier. Sometimes, okay, most of the time, the vision that's really on our heart is this God vision. God even tells us that we can't do it without him, which means it's not going to be easy because many times we try to do things on our own and we've got to wait for direction. And so for our sevens in particular, the avoidance of discomfort can prevent them from pursuing a deep or challenging vision, a vision that's really going to get them the fulfillment that they need, but they have to get uncomfortable through the process in order to get it. So it's a catch-22 here because this fulfillment that they're seeking, but the comfort that they love and the excitement that they love, they're on two sides of the same coin, and they have to just keep the coin on the challenging side. And so the next one is the fear of missing out might cause them to jump from one vision to another, lacking focus. So this is, again, this multi-passionate, this scattered look of looking of what someone else is doing. Your vision is unique to you. I have a friend who's a coach, and even our coaching programs, even our coaching visions look very different. There's things that she does that I'm like, oh, that's so cool. And then I'm reminded, nope, God put me on this direction. I could do that, but that's not the right way. There's things that I'm doing that she's like, oh, I could do that too. And it's like, well, but does it make sense with your vision? And so it's really important that we stick to the vision until God shifts it. And so it's focus, consistency and focus and dedication are going to be so important. And here I am going into my next podcast, but it's just my sevens in particular are ones that I like. When we talk about it, we're like, okay, let's get down to action. And it's not just those fun actions, but sometimes we have to do those boring or there's difficult tasks and push through them to find the fulfillment that they ultimately want. So now let's end this. Let's wrap this up because honestly, our type 7 friends, the benefits are ones that we all want in our life. Is the benefits from a type 7 perspective is the enthusiasm and the positivity that attract people to their vision and build momentum. You want to follow someone who's excited. You want to follow someone who has this idea and it's exciting and it's well thought out, or at least it's seeming to be well thought out. But it's like it's exciting, it's energizing, it's inspiring. And so having a 7 and working through vision with a 7, it adds an element of entertainment, I don't want to say the same word, excitement, but enthusiasm, and it inspires us and it excites us into the point of action. There's also, they're open-minded, which allows them to dream big and see possibilities that others may miss. For a gut center, again, when we're trying to control the outcomes, when we're trying to control our world, there's things outside of our control that are the exciting, like it is. And so that open-mindedness of developing this with a 7 and talking about it and dreaming with a 7, it allows possibilities to open up and to expand easier because they don't put the limits of how is this possible? It's that sounds fun. Let's go for it. And so it's so fun to create a vision with an Enneagram 7. And it's one area that they can bring things out of you and see possibilities for you that you may have missed especially if you're in a gut or a heart triad, but if you're a 5 or 6 as well. And so in the final benefit here I'm going to talk about is the natural adaptability that helps them embrace change and navigate challenges with ease. So though they may lack focus at times, they can adapt instantly and embrace the change and lean into the changes and navigate the challenge because it's exciting, because because they're maneuverable, because they're used to doing multiple things at one time, or they're used to overcoming to find a resolution or make something happen. And so it's so nice to be able to watch that and just to see and talk to them about, okay, how do I do this? How do I navigate this challenge? And they do it so effortlessly at times, which we know it's not effortless. Like we know that they put effort and energy into it, but they they don't shy away from it as other numbers may, that they embrace change. And so I hope that you have, this Enneagram triad, this Head Triad, where it's more the logical, thinking things through and thinking about it and having the logical analysis and foresight. So the vision is, mentally stimulating. But there's also some security and intellectual pursuits in there as well. And so you can see as having all of these three triads together makes for a very interesting, a very compelling, and very inspiring vision. And so we are going to talk about this a little bit in the Vision Lab. We don't have time to really dive deep into the Enneagram, which is one reason why I wanted to share with this here. But we will take this information. So, and I'll encourage you to at least know which triad you're leaning towards. You don't need to know your number as much. If we understand the triad, we can go from there and invite the other triads into the conversation, bring them to the table, bring them to the exercise, and really expand what's possible. And I hope that you've enjoyed this as much as I have. I am going to be bringing more of the Enneagram into my podcast, just because I've had a couple of my friends and a couple of my clients who said, Tammy, like, that's where I put some connections together. So I will bring some more of the Enneagram into my podcast, just because I know the more we understand ourselves, the more we know why we do what we do, then we can make the adjustments as necessary. We can really just dive in and we understand ourselves more. All right, friend, with that, please, please, please come join me at the Vision Lab. Well, also, if you have any questions, if there's anything that you want to know more about with the Enneagram and Vision, or Enneagram in general, let me know. Send me a message and let's talk. Let's dive into this and let's do this together. All right. With that, friend, I will talk to you soon. All right. Bye for now. Choose joy until joy chooses you. Bye.